Hello, 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 people. Welcome to hello, hello, hello. Oh my god! You know what's funny? At like 7:15, I got an alarm on my phone. It's like your show starts in 15 minutes, and I just canceled it. I just canceled it. I don't know if anybody's going to join us today, but
That's fine.
yeah, I just canceled the show. I just said I canceled the alarm. I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I
Is that because the game put you to sleep? Is that why?
no, you know, I just you know what? I forgot that I moved it, and I set up alarms to make sure I remember, and then I didn't remember. And you know, usually I just created the show and everything. So anybody that you know has been following the channel and all of that, it's going probably what the hell, you know?
Well, the problem also is you've been on like everybody's YouTube show since like Saturday. And, do you even know what day of the week it is at this point? Your hat's on crooked. Are you okay? You doing all right, Gary? You making it?
Gary has a
You're right.
podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
I screwed it up, but you know, we'll see if anybody joins us. Let me just put it in the YouTube and all of that stuff. So we'll see who joins us. But oh my
It's a
gosh.
fire performance from you, Gary.
Yes. Oh my god, that's just crazy. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. All right, let me put it out there. See if anybody joins us. Oh my god. Yeah.
Look like Rhea had some of Keppa's problems there.
Well, you know what? We we see that from our team all the damn time. These like nonchalant passes, like the attention to detail is never there, and we always make a make these passes. You're like, what the world are you? You're not even looking where you're going, and you're just passing it, and you're not putting anything on it.
Yeah, we talked about it on Saturday. Yeah.
And the blind alleys.
All right, so I'm putting.
At least we didn't get like a first 37 seconds go like Real Madrid did.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
we talked about it on Saturday. How like sometimes Raya just like is like free flowing to the ball, man. Like he's very Bob Marley with how he presents it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
You know what you see, but we see. You know what's the thing is we've seen this too many times from every player. Like everybody's done it.
Mhm.
You know, Zubimendi's done it. We've seen, of course, Ray's done. I mean, we see like Gabrielle's done it. I think, like our attention span just goes, and those silly passes happen all the damn time. So
it gets highlighted even worse when it's a goalkeeper, though.
Yeah.
That because it's there's so much risk with a goalkeeper doing something crazy that I mean, we saw people lose the ball tonight, but for some reason, like when it's a goalkeeper, it's the stakes are so much higher and the margins are so close. Like,
well, because we play so much, we play in the back so much.
Just in general, though,
we play out the back so long that guess where if they're gonna think about it, the odds are a mistake is gonna happen on the back. Why? Because that's where we want to play. Like we're the only team that basically today I saw it. We intercepted the ball. We're about to go on the attack, and then I thought we were going to go on an attack, and we just said, "Nah, we won't do that." And we just
that one where Madueke got it and sent it to Yorkerez, and he kind of
I'll be right back.
Shanked it a little bit. So do you want to get into it, or we got anybody, or we just?
Yeah, no. I mean, besides, I think right now I might be the only one actually watching my show. So we'll see if anybody else. Oh, look, we got some people joining us. Oh, look, this is let's see. We've got Sean. Sean B, Jell, Ellen, big up, gentlemen. For me, that was absolutely disgusting performance, and I've never been unhappy to move it to the ACL semi like I have with his manager and his tactics. That is the thing. It's like every time we do something positive, it's like I didn't even. You're so like disgusted sometimes by by how you got there. You're like, I can't even enjoy it as much anymore because I'm like, this sucked. Like how can we not just run away? How can we not just run away from anybody now? We can't.
Well, I tell you what's funny is like our texts were a little bit more positive, and not like, and I think because we were looking at it, at least I was, from the context of Saturday compared to today, which was way better today than it was on Saturday, like miles better. Where we felt more. We didn't, like I felt like when you look back at Saturday was more of a like let's pass it around and Rye gets to touch it 49 times and all this stuff. Whereas like tonight there was a little bit more progression. I just saw better things. I mean, overall, if you're judging it, kind of like the message I sent you with Thierry Henry talking about that wasn't good enough to beat City, and it's probably accurate. But again, I'm just looking at it from the context. Like we were talking about this game by game. That's where I'm thinking about it. For me, compared to what Saturday was, the Bournemouth game, compared to the Southampton game, to me, it was a lot better. If you're looking at the context of what we've seen, but compared to what we saw in October and November, absolutely not. But I don't know what the issue is. Well, again, like without getting too like into the weeds or really, because again, we're at the stretch, right? This is it. I mean, this is the last 8 games. We have 8 more games on the schedule. If we're lucky, we have 9. But like, what's the answer at this point? Like today's lineup, I was okay with it, but that's all we have really to our. I mean, I guess you could start Dalman, right? You could make that argument. Dalman at home, Champions League semifinal or quarterfinals. You're up 1-0 in the late aggregate. Can you start him? I mean, I thought Eze was better for us today. It felt like we had someone that was actually making good progressive passes in the midfield. So I'm going to hindsight say I was wrong about Havertz on Sunday or Saturday. Looking back at it from what I saw from Eze, like Eze gives us a boost. Yorker has had probably just a very underwhelming game. Again, I don't know why. Madueke, I thought was better.
Not much service there, Spencer.
That's true, but when he did get it, like it wasn't as good. His touches, like I think he took one too many touches. I thought Madueke was okay today compared to what we've seen in the past. He didn't run the ball out of bounds. Again,
Sanders. Whoa!
Was that one?
Whoa! Yeah, he did. It was a strong touch. The defender was able to get there because, of course, he kicked it past it out. He out kicked himself.
Normally dribbles it out of bounds and like runs with it.
Okay, so it wasn't that, but the ball went out of bounds because of him. Because he
But wouldn't Madueke be your first substitution though?
Talking about based on what we saw tonight?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're thinking about it from a tactical perspective, absolutely. Absolutely.
Take Dalman could have came on earlier.
I mean,
I don't think Martinelli offered too much tonight.
I thought the first 10 minutes of the game were really good. I think something we saw again tonight. We finally saw some overlapping fullbacks for a little bit of periods of time with Mascara. I think Capier touched on the touchline, which I like to see. Which again, if you're going to talk about Madueke likes to run the ball out of bounds, if you keep him more central, he can't really do that as much. I mean, the job was to get through to the next round, and they did it tonight. Now, did they give me warm and fuzzies for Saturday or Sunday? Not really, but if we'd have won 2 or 3-0 tonight, would you guys get warm? I mean, I'm not talking you guys. I'm talking like the chat. Would you be like, oh, man, we're going to do it? You're probably not. Everybody's still doubting regardless what's going to happen on Sunday. So if we'd have seen a 5-6-0 shilling, just 3 goals from this person and 2 from this and 1 from that, people are still going to sit here and doubt us, even people in our own fan base, because we've been on this roller coaster before. So we've turned into the Missouri State Football Club. Show me, and it's fair to feel that way. But overall, man, like if you're talking about a progression from Saturday, Gary says this all the time. Next game on the line. You're in a semifinal. I don't know what else to say on that.
Well, I said we probably. Let me get into the chat. But I said we should. It's going to get ugly, and today was ugly. I mean, we didn't do. It was ugly, but we made it through. And all we have to do is win ugly or get production ugly. Who cares? Let me see how a couple people let Tony have a say. Catherine in the house. Thanks for joining us, Catherine. I believe I don't know if you guys got to do the show. I saw Ryan's channel just went his internet went, I guess, right at the beginning of the game. So that kind of sucked. Got Big Gunner in the house. Thanks for joining us. Greetings, everyone. Sean says, I never want to see Matt Dwicke, Jokeris, and Martinelli played together ever again. I'm with you on that one. That I don't know how many times Arteta has to go back to the well on something that doesn't work. Right?
It's like you could see the difference once our build came on. Pishard first shot at it.
Yep.
Almost goes
you
in
had to hit
there.
the post, right? I mean, you didn't see like Martinelli doing that, but Martinelli, if he the difference is Trossard is hitting the post, Martinelli is saving a breakaway. Remember, so on similar free kicks. So take your pick. Which one do you want?
Yeah,
Martinelli with pace. Trossard's not making that run.
No, God no.
But he can still do the defense though.
No, and that's what
he
saved us today with that one. I mean, we got saved a couple of times, but that was one of the ones. If that's City, that's probably that's Haaland probably. No, Haaland probably be in the box, so maybe not. Your Chris was terrible today, says BX Gunner. I think it's hard for me to give your Chris terrible day sometimes when I know that he don't get the ball, and when he does get it, he jumps at the chance and he skies it, right? So I kind of felt like, when you start not feeding your striker and then you expect him to perform, you're asking, it's a double-edged sword. You don't feed him, and then when he does, you want him to do good, and you're like, but you didn't feed him enough. He has to feel like he's part of the game. You saw Martinelli run all the way back to the center backs because he's out of the game. You saw Jesus do that years ago. I mean, that's what we do to ourselves when we play so slow out the back. Our attackers are like, screw this, let me go get the ball. Right?
That's why Odegaard does what he does. It drives people nuts, but it's the only way he's going to get it sometimes.
Yeah, I think
I still think it's what they're asked to do.
I think they have no choice if they want to get the ball up the pitch, though, sometimes, because I'm kind of I'm with the Spence on this one. Let me finish the chat and I'll let you go, Tony. Arsenal Misfit Stevens in the house. Hey, gents, hope you're good. Got no notification for this show. Just stumbled on it. Hey, there was no notification because I forgot to create the damn show. I created it pretty much 10 minutes after the show was supposed to start.
And I texted you earlier today. I was like, hey, are we still doing today, Gary?
And I said yes. And what did I do after that? You know what? It was a crazy work. I'm going to go. No, it was crazy work day. My last few days of work have been really ridiculous. Like, I've been stressed at work. Usually I have time to create the show and stuff throughout the day. Today, no. Now I was just sitting there with my wife and I'm like, oh, crap. I'm supposed to have my show today.
It's like that beaver meme I sent you earlier.
Yep.
Screaming at
John's like, no, but winning would have been better than a 0-0 draw where we showed zero attacking. You know what? We actually showed better attacking capabilities today than we have in, I want to say, the 4 games that we played in the past. We actually looked like we could have scored. I mean, we hit the post. We skied too many shots, like Eze skied, and Jokeris skied with the 2 shots. You put those on target, maybe. But you know what? We haven't even been doing that. And then the other shots, most of them were all blocked. One was saved, I think. The one that was saved was Zubamendi's shot, which wasn't really a shot. I think he was trying to cross it.
Get the header.
All the other shots were blocks because we're spending so much time wondering about what we're going to do next.
Yeah, Rice took one shot today and was too slow on it.
Yeah.
Or they were over post because they were kicking on ball too low.
Yeah. So let me finish this chat. Tony, at Trossard start, it would have been 1-0 on the break that Martinelli stopped. For sure.
And Trossard still almost got that one at the end of the game. He probably should have just went
that
and
header.
off
It's hard for me to say like it was a terrible header because it was a very nice header, but just on the wrong side of the post. Too clean on the post. Got Arsenal Daily Wag in the house. Says big up the guys. Thanks for joining us. Is Elise what Saka was supposed to be had he not been unfortunately injured repeatedly? I don't. I think they're totally different players. I think Saka healthy doesn't look like Elise. I mean, they play. I think they play a little differently. I think Elise is a taller, bigger, taller, bigger player, so it looks different. So I think that's how I see that. Can Saka take shots? We've seen it.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's like. I think if he's healthy, if he was healthy and building up from where he was, you wouldn't know. People would be comparing Elise and Saka essentially if they wanted to compare people.
And that goal he scored at the end, though, Gary. I mean, it was against a 10-man Real Madrid who was already desperate, wide open.
Yeah,
they gave him a lot of space in the box, and he burned him for it.
Saka
never gets that level of space either, though. That
he won't take that shot, though. Did you see how that shot was taken?
What are you talking about, Elise's?
Elise's. He's about to split two defenders, and before he gets there, he just takes the shot. Goalkeeper doesn't even see it until it's too late.
How often does Saka even get in those positions based on the way we play our wings? Because if you look at the way our wings played today when they were attacking, Gary, they were trying to almost do the touchline to get the cross in, and it's just like, what are y'all doing? Like, that's another story. But again,
I mean, he probably doesn't get that look. You're sure, for sure. He
just based on what I've seen, Ari just takes too long. Whereas Elise was like, "Bam, I'm gonna take the shot."
Yeah.
It's like Rice had an opportunity earlier today where he had an opportunity to take a shot, but he took it too long, and by the time he took it, it was blocked.
Yeah, well, that's a problem. We'd like to wait for the defense to settle as opposed to just take it while they're still moving. When they were right in front of you, it's too late. Is the fire Arteta? Is this the fire Arteta was talking about? You know what? The man talks too much, and he talks too much, and then when he tries to fire up his crew, fire up the fans, it falls flat on his face.
Yeah,
he just needs to just shut up and just get these guys to play better football. That's all we want. Bodo Glimt scored more against Sporting than we could. Hey, a lot of people scored a lot of goals than against every team that we've played. You know what I mean?
And Sporting scored what 5 goals or whatever? What was it?
Sporting was averaging 2+ goals a game or something like that.
And Sporting we ended up getting a win at their spot. They have 3 straight clean sheets in the Champions League. I mean, defensively, man, I feel a lot more comfortable at the Champions League than I do the league at this point.
No, we were playing, yeah. Gavin L in the house, thanks for joining us. Big up, guys. Thanks for joining. Sean says we could have signed Kvaratskhelia, Semenyo, Lookman over the last 3 January windows, but instead we still have I'm with you on the January windows being empty and being we should have done something. Semenyo and Lookman, I think, are players we definitely should have just picked up. People said, no, we shouldn't pick them up because we've got Saka and we've got Martinelli and we've got Trossard and all of this. And it's like, well, look now. Yeah. We don't want Trossard. We don't want Martinelli. And Saka may not come back to form. We never know. Guys, thank each other. Thank you, Spencer. You're right. Saka would get to be in that position. Saka ends up against the touchline with all 10 defenders between him and the goal.
You saw it tonight with Madueke too. Madueke had a moment where Gyökeres was further near in the center by the box, and I counted 5 or 6 Sporting shirts, and Mascara's finally banging up, running close to get him. But it's we do leave our wingers in almost one of the most isolated positions possible, which again, dude, if you want to get Saka to get back into that way he was, where he was taking that shot and hitting it, stop having your wings, play the touch lines and make your fullbacks play the touch lines, and then he's on the corner of the box to take that shot, I don't know.
Tony?
Just enjoy it. Pitcher with this 3rd potty mouth 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
I'm an imperfect person.
I think Arsenal's got a lot of people doing things they don't usually do.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
I'm surprised any of us have any hair left at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, people are like, "Why are we so upset about making it to the semis?" And I'm like, "Well, we're probably the one team in the semis right now that doesn't know how to score."
Yeah, it's our draws have been easy.
Yeah, and we're probably playing the worst team in the sense that Atletico can play, has played in the past anyways, a defense that could, give us a bit of problem, get into our head, and that's all they really need to do. If they get into our head, who knows what we're gonna do, you know? But defensively, I think we should be if we can, if we win ugly, if we're gonna win ugly, I'll take it. But we gotta win ugly. We gotta play ugly too. We can't be doing what we do. It wouldn't matter. What does it say? Spencer is seeing the nutshell. Arteta's got us, and like,
We're gonna flip side of that and say he's got us in 2 semifinals of the Champions League, which has never been done in our history back to back.
not only that, well, think about it: a final in the EFL, a quarter in the FA Cup, a semi in the Champions League, and right now sitting top of the league. So, like, once again, this is what we want the team to be in terms of progress. I know people don't like progress and all of that. Let's go ahead, Tom.
But do you put that on Berta and say that's Berta? Because
no,
to me,
you can't. As much as I want to say,
but Arteta hasn't improved at anything. His management still sucks. You see that tonight when Jesus is still an answer for him. Jesus should not be an answer. I mean, if they'd bring anybody on, Trossard should have came on earlier. Dalman should have came on earlier, and I have a hard time giving Arteta the credit because I think
you have to. You cannot. You cannot be happy
because I feel like somebody else could get more out of what we have.
That's a totally different discussion.
Yeah.
That discussion is whether Arteta can get us across the line and not whether Arteta is improving us year on year. For the last 4 years, this will be our 5th year, have we improved year on year? The answer to that is yes. Is it where we want to be? No. Because we want to be our arms at the end of the season. But have we progressed? Yes. If people said, did you enjoy the way we played and what we were doing with Unai Emery?
Sometimes.
You enjoyed no. Did you enjoy it's a yes no question. Did you enjoy it?
No. I thought it was better.
Did you enjoy it? Yes or no? You can't there's no like gray area here. Either you enjoyed it or you didn't. Did you enjoy it, Tony? Did you enjoy the last 5 to 10 years of Wenger?
I enjoyed the first year of.
Did you enjoy the last
Emery.
5 to 10 years of Wenger? Did you enjoy Unai Emery?
He Wenger stayed.
You won't answer because
Wenger stayed. Yeah, but that's
you're not answering the question. You're just rambling about everything else.
Everybody wanted to change because we weren't winning anything, and now we're not winning anything. We won 1 FA Cup. Yay! We've got a whole trophy chest.
Like I said, can he get us across the line? That's a different question. Whether or not we're doing better than yesterday.
Well, here's where the discussion goes, and I think me and Gary probably talked about this more than anything we probably wanted to in our last, I don't know, whatever. But no, I think the whole thing, Tony, is like, yes, you could make an argument he hasn't got us over the line, but we're still in it at this current moment. And it like the vibes aren't good because we're not scoring and because we've dealt through the trauma of 4 second place finishes, which you can argue last year with Liverpool winning. We were never in it. You could argue 22-23, we absolutely bottled it. 23-24, we were chasing City, but City were really good, still finished second. So, and then you could talk about all the countless competitions that we've kind of, I don't want to say been, but two Carabao Cup semifinals, the FA Cup failures in the 3rd round. So again, like there is doubt there, but let's be fair here on this point. Again, this isn't an endorsement of him staying or going or anything until we're typically really out of this. I think the conversation's a little bit really not odd. I think it's fair to feel that way, but I don't like we made it through to the next round of the semifinals of the Champions League. If we win, it's another discussion because I don't even think if we were playing free-flowing football, we could really even – I think PSG and Bayern are really good. Like, I think PSG is elite. I don't know if anybody could beat PSG right now. We'll see with Bayern in the next round. But, like I understand. Like, for me with Emery, the first half of his tenure, Gary, was enjoyable. But I feel like it got really weird late. But again,
but think about it. We went on that 21 game,
right?
Not streak where we didn't lose.
Yes,
but the football was
27
ugly.
games. 27 games, Gary.
Or whatever it was, but the football was we were just lucky, right?
Look at the talent pool,
for sure.
Look at the talent pool.
No, I know. But you know what? Emery is a better. You know what? This is the thing. Emery is a better manager because he's more experienced. He's actually won trophies, big trophies that Arteta has not had an opportunity to even play for, right? But he's won trophies.
But Emery wasn't allowed to go get the players he wanted.
You know what?
Spent 70 million on Pepe for him.
Yeah.
Whether that was him or Misseltat's another discussion.
He did not want Pepe. He wanted.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. Arteta didn't want Gyökeres. He wanted Sesko. So there you go. Nobody gets everything they want.
And I think that's why you see him get yanked off in the Champions League like he has, because
I mean, I think they needed to make a change. And also for me, who knows who's going. If Kai Havertz is going to start on the weekend, for example, then he needed to play. If Gyökeres was going to start on Sunday, it probably makes sense to pull him off at some time. So for me, if that's what sometimes people can say is player management, right? If you know what you're gonna do, like, can he help me any more than he's done already? Probably not. You know what? How about this? How about we pull him off? Kai Havertz can go in there and maybe create something. Maybe we get the score and we finish this thing off, right?
Yeah.
So there's different mindset. Let me go through the chat. I'm sorry, I've been trying to go through the chat. And it wouldn't matter who we picked up in the January windows. They could all have to play Arteta ball and just be handcuffed as the players we have already. I just think but I think if you get better players, then even with Arteta ball, they can still overcome some of that. That's what Saka was doing before he got injured. Saka was doing what Arteta wanted, but he also was making it work. So I think the better players could do it, regardless of how much it handcuffs them. Makes me feel a bit vindicated. We'll see. We lost the League Cup final because we choked. How many times is going to choke? Yeah, that was not good. False sense of progress, and it's not. It's progress. Whether you're saying it's false because we didn't win, nobody just wins every time. You know what I mean? So it's progress. It isn't false. We are doing better in every competition outside of the league. We've gotten better in all of them. Over the last 4 years, this fourth year, we competed for one thing in 22, 23, the league. That was it. And since then, we've been able to build on everything else and compete on four fronts. So to say we're not progressing, I don't want progress. Yeah, I'd rather we win one. I'd rather we have won the 22, 23, because that would show that we could do it. All right. But we didn't do that. But we continually got better. We got deeper. The squad is deeper. Like you said, maybe he's run his course. Somebody's going to have to make that decision. We are wasting a golden opportunity. We've wasted many golden opportunities over the years. So who's going to enjoy this Arteta Sega every year? No, I don't think any of us want. No, I think anybody. Yeah, we come out empty-handed this year. I don't think there's anyone that's like, yeah, let's do this again.
But it's not going to change no matter who the manager is. We're gonna let's do a.
That's not true. What you just said is not true. If you put Pep in there, it's going to change. If you put Enrique in there, it's going to change. No, you said it. So I don't understand what that means. If you're telling me that a better manager will be one of this club, then we're fighting.
Gary, let me say what I'm about to say here. Give me 1 second, Tony. 1 second. My point being is the first time Pep or whoever failed here, the first competition, you'll get a comment like that. Of like, oh, we failed again. It's going. My point being is like you're not just going to give a manager a pass because he's experienced. That's false from the fan base.
That's what everybody else. That's what those people want us to believe, that they would be all right with not finishing.
No, they're not.
First because
the first minute we
I'm saying that's what they would say. They would say no. They would and they'd be lying. But here we go.
That's my whole point, Gary.
Yeah, we're in it, but we know it's not good enough. Why settle for Arteta? Well, I don't think, like I said, I don't think a lot of people
the manager
are
right now, though. No one's settling for Arteta. Everybody on this panel has said that if Arteta doesn't win anything this year, then we're comfortable with moving on. Okay, we've established that.
No, I don't. Basically, I don't believe you're being 100% there with the women's team. Have you seen the Arsenal women's squad?
Pretty good.
They are good. They're good players all across the board there. They've got the striker for England. They've got the best defender for England. They've got a really good Spanish midfielder. They've got goalkeepers galore. Every goalkeeper they've picked up so far has been the answer, right? So I don't like, as much as you say they don't have no business beating Barca. I think it's a good squad. That's why when they fired the manager mid-season and they went on the run, it was like, yes, because they have the good players, they just weren't getting the best out of them. So yeah, managing makes a difference sometimes, and we're seeing that now. The only reason they're struggling this year is because they had injuries, and I think they needed to make changes with some of their attackers, and they didn't do it. So then they had to depend on them. It's kind of that whole Martinelli Trossard thing with the Blackstenius and what's her name? There's two players from the Slavic area, but they're not as good as they need to be compared to the other players they have. So, and they had injuries, so that set them back. It's ridiculous how our fan base hates on the players that made the two most important plays in this game. Martinelli pushed up and then made a brilliant pass to win game 1, and today he stopped a break. Yeah. Well, yeah. Just because they make one play doesn't mean that the body of work is what you want to see.
Right.
Huh?
We're guilty of inconsistencies because we're human. Like that's the reality. Like I was hard on Martinelli, I believe, for the Southampton game was probably a little too harsh on him, but he comes through and does the sporting business, and he does what he did tonight. So it's like a mixed bag. It's like Madueke's been really good in the Champions League, but kind of like in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So we're imperfect because we see things differently. I think it's we just see the game in a different light. That's why some people say this player doesn't work in this position, and then they stick to it, and it's almost kind of this broken record of we lose. Okay, that player's to blame, even though they were on the field, but they weren't responsible for those two poor moments or whatever. But we're human. We make mistakes. It is what it is. We're flawed individuals.
I don't think it's ridiculous. I just think consistency makes a difference, and Martinelli's not consistent enough to where I can take some of his bad days.
Right.
Most of the time, I think we're going where he didn't come today. So for me, it's not even that he made a good. He has it in him. That's why some people think he's all right. Right. I mean, he didn't score 15 goals by mistake years ago. That he did that on purpose, right? That was his plan. But his consistency has fallen off.
And I was reading the messages today of Martinelli having the 6 goals, being right behind Henry, and can't remember who the other one was on Champions League goals for Arsenal. But it's like you play 8 games now instead of 6 in a group. There's more games, so and
it doesn't matter.
You're playing lesser competition.
You can't change. You can't. I don't like. Well, you know what? The game is different. The field's different. The ball's different. There are more games. It's still a good measuring. I mean, the fact that he's done more than them and not just one more means that, you know what, with the extra game, yes. But so he's almost equal then with them. You know what I mean? If you want to average it out, right? So Big's gonna one trophy since 2020 is not good. Yep. We're in 2026. I know. I want a trophy. I do. I want another trophy. But I think, like, for me, I didn't want Arteta because I knew because of my first. If you listen to me when Arteta was coming in, the one thing I said was, if we bring him in, we're going to have to be patient. It's going to take time. He's going to be learning on the job, and guess what? That's exactly what's happened. Do I like it? No, but is that what the state of the state of play is? That is what Arteta. Sorry, that's what Arsenal wants to do. They want to bring up a new manager and work with him and get him to where he's really great. And that's what they've done.
The only good news I'll say is if you did move on from Arteta, and I'm not advocating for either way or keeping or whatever, the squad is built enough for someone to take it over. Whereas when he took over, wasn't good, And then of course moving people in. They made some mistakes, brought in some poor players. Edu made some mistakes. Arteta made some mistakes. But again, to piggyback to a previous conversation, we can't blame Arteta when things go wrong and then fail to give him credit when things go right. I mean, I think you can't take the responsibility of failure, but then not get the credit for certain things going the right way. Now, granted,
can we just go back in history because everybody seems to forget?
Are you caught up with the chat, Gary, or do you want to?
No.
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead, Tony. Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead, Tony.
But people forget that Arteta turned down the job that was eventually given to Emery because he wanted more say on the transfers of this and that, and he probably wanted more money. Is probably what it boiled down to. Yeah. But if you insert him 2 years earlier, he would have been gone. He wouldn't be at Arsenal right now.
You don't even know that because you don't even know that. You don't because guess what? Guess what? You don't know that because if they wanted him, the KSC will back him. If they want him, they will back him. Yeah, that's what they've done, right? Like they wanted when they got Arteta, he got what he wanted, right? That's what we said. So you're saying 2-3 years earlier they would have got him and they wouldn't have backed him? Is that what you're trying to say? Because that's based on what everybody said. They backed him. That's why they wanted to go out. That's why they went out and tried to get him. You're saying 2 years beforehand they would have backed him and seen it through.
I don't think they would have, based on the Champions League format. Wouldn't have been what it changed to.
Like I said, they would have seen progress and said maybe that's what. All right. Let me go through the chat here. He's very much in danger of losing this league, and that's criminal. No, it is. It is. It is. It is. That's not true, Spencer. I think I don't know.
I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah. We have many examples of manager changes. We
have one right now when our rival seems to be headed to the championship, and they've gone through Antonio Conte and won him a trophy and fired him. Yeah, that went really well. They had Thomas Frank. Who else have they had? Jose Mourinho.
No, Chelsea and Manchester United have all had multiple managers over the years, even though they've won. And most people have said they don't even want to be in those situations. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's a double-edged sword. Leon and Barca dominated the women's game for. Let me finish here. I finished. Dominated the women's game for 10 years. Did you watch the final? Arsenal defended for. Everybody just told me that Chelsea won the Champions League based on their defense. Now all of a sudden defense is bad. When is defense? Why is both sides of football one is good, one is bad for football? I hate that.
Entertainment.
Every sport does it. They say the defensive guys, no, we don't like you. The attacking guys, flashy, flary guys, I want that. But guess what? You win with both. Every team that wins, they win with both. Right? Everybody talks about City's attack, and then not. If you look at their defense, this is solid, right? It's not the best in the world, but it's pretty solid, right? And the fact that they won a Ballon d'Or with a defensive player, right, says it all right there. You look at City with their attack and all these players they've had, and then they win a Ballon d'Or with their defender. How right? So tell me again why. That's when you look at that.
But let's look at who we play next.
All right, we'll do that. We'll do that later. We do that.
No,
later.
but we play.
I don't want. I want to go to the chat.
He plays defensive football, but it's still a lot better style of football, and he's in a league where there's two giants and everybody else fighting for the scraps.
Yeah, but we're playing against the biggest giant in the world.
Yeah.
Right now, we're playing against the biggest giant in the world. Look what they did on a bad year, right? All right. Yeah. Real Madrid is not there anymore. So who's next up? It would be right City. I mean, they have a chance to win 3 trophies right now. All right.
Yep.
I don't know. Also, a manager change helps. No, they definitely helped. If they were as ruthless with the men and women, like I said, they do things with the men and women which I don't get. they play. It's like a totally different type of football. Like in the women's game, they went out there and they've got the best. They went and got Manchester United striker, all right? one of the best young strikers in the league. We didn't do that. All right. So, here we go. Screw that idea. Arteta has to, even if he wins both Premier League and Champions League, this football is not sustainable. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying he leaves if he wins. I think they would think about it, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they did let him go. I mean, the football
His poor man management as well. If he's slowing down drastically, is why we're relying on Madueke, Martinelli as our front two starting wings right now, because Saka's been running to the ground. Odegaard can't stay healthy.
Let me go through this chat. Both of you guys are interrupting me.
I'm not even watching. I thought you were caught up.
Others just want us to use to play the brand we're capable of, as well as not flogging our players. Yeah, no, I don't think we just want us to play the brand we're capable of. No, I get that, and Arteta is risk averse, so he's not going to do it. That's the problem. Gary, absolutely correct about Arteta. My belief is that Arsenal is not a training. No, I didn't want that, and that's what they did. And I said, and I even said it. Somebody said Arsenal won't be back for 10 years, after Unai Emery, and I was like, we're 6 years in now, and I don't know, we can't get any closer to winning anything than we have now. So my scare is that you might have missed your window, Arteta. So we'll see. Chelsea still had Drogba scoring along with Maluda and Anelka, Gary, not to mention the high school. No, but they had a defense that everybody said was one of the best defenses in the world, right? Right? And that's what I remember, right? Least amount of goals scored in the Premier League, right? Against, right? That's what I remember everybody saying. And everybody said that the style of football was, right? That's what I remember. That's what, unless people have been misinforming me. My understanding was Chelsea's defense was one of the, definitely one of the keys. Yes, they had Drogba, yeah, but I believe the defense was also key to this thing. So, right, we can't compare Chelsea with us. We're not comparing. We're just saying that if people talk about how they won games, Mbappe wins or loses, still plenty of goals. Yeah, and we've seen how that works. So he went to PSG. They didn't. What did they win? They didn't win the Champions League, right? They could win the French league anytime they want. They don't need Mbappe for that. Couldn't win it, and there goes to Real Madrid. Right? They win the league every year. Champions League is where they actually set their. That's where they put their mark, right?
Yep.
He's been there how many years now? How many Champions Leagues have they won? Right? It's not
0.
like the reason why he went to these places for the Champions League, not because of the league. They could win leagues without him. They've been doing it, right? It's like Bayern Munich. You don't go to Bayern Munich to win a German, a league, Bundesliga, right? You go there to win Champions League because they win it with anybody, right? So let's see. We need a great defense along with a good offense for sure. We do need a better offense for sure. We're 6 years in, and as manager, Arteta has shown no improvement in his game day management for sure. For sure. And we are all caught up here. 43 minutes in. Sorry.
So sorry, me and Spencer take a pause as we're caught up and we go on, Gary. So.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to? What do you want to talk about? Because I think we've done enough Arteta in, Arteta out conversation for.
Yeah.
I mean,
do we talk? Are we done with the game?
No.
I was gonna say one other thing. I don't think our early substitutions changed the game much, but I think what changed it, and the announcer said it, was that their changes weakened their team because they weren't able to bring a ball up through the pitch like they were after they made the substitutions. I think that changed the game more than bringing on Jesus and Clivert.
I feel like we made too many changes to affect us in the sense that, we changed our entire front four. Like I just don't think changing your entire front four does it for us. Every time we do that, I don't think we see a significant change that we want to. Usually, for me, that just means you made a mistake. When you have to substitute your entire front four, I think that's not good. Good sign. All right? Because guess what? Rice and Zubimendi probably didn't need to finish out this game. in my eyes,
Nope.
more than Martinelli and Madueke coming off. You know what I mean? In the sense that if we're going to see this game out, I want to see it out, and I want to be able to put a Norgard in and close out the game, put a Skelly in the midfield and close out the game. Those types of things, right?
And you've seen Rice dropping back to left back again several times.
Yeah, and Rice, you saw Rice at the end of the game, right? He looks. I mean, if we don't get, we have to get to this Sunday game.
Yeah,
like I need to see a smile on his face when the Sunday game's over. That's when we'll know. All right.
I think that's the other problem too, that Gary, is the fact that we didn't pick up that second goal. I think if you'd have picked up say if this game had been 1 or 2-0, I think there is absolutely a world where he pulls a striker off and throws.
But he didn't set us up to get that goal.
Well, the players
Martinelli and Madueke and Gyökeres, that front three isn't really.
As they missed shots, Rice missed shots. I mean, they had opportunities.
No, you're talking about. There's 2 shots that were missed. All of the other 15 either were off target or got blocked.
Well, I still count those as opportunities. As they put
but I mean those weren't by Eze and Gyökeres though.
Eze had one else. So you're counting that as a shot?
No. Eze and Gyökeres skied their shots.
Correct.
Most of the other shots were all blocked or off, and most of those weren't by Eze and Gyökeres. Like Rice's shot got blocked, Zubamendi's shot got blocked, Martinelli's shot got blocked. I mean,
the Trossard header, which was
hit the post, I guess.
Jesus had one he put in the side net.
That was ridiculous how he did that.
Yeah,
I mean, again, I don't know how you did it with your right foot.
But those are opportunities that the players didn't execute.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if 1 or 2 of those go in, the tactics change, the mindset change, and it turns into, okay, we've got to, because again, like if you pull Martinelli off or Madueke, or you pull off a winger to change something tactically, and then say you concede the goal, now you're having to potentially put another attacker on to do extra time. So our inability also to score at times, I think, hurts our man management.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to. That's why sometimes you have to make a change, because you aren't getting that goal, and sometimes you make a change to get the goal. So then, if you're not making, I'm talking about in general from day one. I mean, this is what we're talking about, right? And we're not like at some point after 6 years, you need to be able to be comfortable that I can bring in a player, even if the game's tight, because guess what? That's what a lot of clubs do, right? That's what a lot of clubs do. They're behind, they're ahead by 1, whatever the case may be. They bring in, like, if you're not confident with your squad, then you've got a problem, right? And is that on Arteta and Berta and
but
Arteta?
Don't you have more belief we would have scored if Trossard started?
I don't know, because we've seen it work, but we've seen it go both ways, where they both start and nothing happens, right? Either
When's the last time Trossard scored a goal for us?
Let me go through this chat as you do that. Look up. Got somebody new to the show, the Bon Tully. Thanks for joining us. Can I join in? Yeah, I usually don't have new people joining in. I got burned by it, but you know what? So I kind of hesitate. I've seen Spence on shows, and I joined shows, and Spence has been on there, and that's kind of how this all worked out.
Yeah.
If you're on a channel, send me the link to it, and I'll check it out. But that's usually how it works for me. So usually it's the same people. We're not passing any sort of if you look at the football on the pitch, it's not good to see. It is not good to see. But like I said, I think Arteta's just gonna have us winning ugly. I'm not gonna like it, but I'll take the results if it happens. Or missing Rice. Yeah, I think Rice is just not. He's not fully cooked Rice. A little overcooked. Sporting doesn't have the same amount of depth as us quality-wise, and that's what gave us the advantage as the game went on. No, when you're bringing on down, what we bought on those subs, they didn't make a difference, but I think the fact that left back finally got a yellow card with Dowman on the pitch, says a lot, right? I mean, the same thing happened, I think, when we played him last time. He was knocking Madueke all over the place, and no yellows were getting called. He was getting away with it.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that one. And then he almost scores, right? So I think that's the thing that hurts. Rice called. Let me see. It's all good. Hey, Boyten Diaz in the house. Did I say hi to you? I think I did. If not, welcome to the show. It's all good to say the players didn't execute in the final third, but I don't believe the manager's tactics helped them get to the final third to start with. I don't know. It's hard. I mean, like I said, it's hard to
I
say.
do wonder when people say that, like, what do you mean by that? Our manager's tactics. Like, this also comes down to the players having to make a decision to turn the ball forward too, and we saw that today. We saw way more progression. We saw more runs. Mascara looked really good at right back, in my opinion. I don't know if you start him this weekend against City, but like Eze looked really good. Eze was helping us out, moving the ball forward, being progressive. Madueke was progressive. I thought Zubamendi, had an excellent game. I will point something out. I sent something in a text to you, Gary. 66th minute, Zubamendi has the ball about at midfield, and Dowman's in between two defenders. And if you go back and look, Dowman's throwing his arms up like, give me the ball, and Zubamendi didn't get him. Now, I don't know if Zubamendi didn't see him. I don't know if he didn't trust the pass. But, there was a moment where Dowman was, like, screaming for the ball, and they didn't get it to him.
Zubamendi did win the player of the match.
Yeah. I thought he was good. I thought he was pretty good defensively. I thought he made some good passes. It was good to see Hincapie back. That was good to see that. I thought he had a good game. But again, you're through to semifinal. You got City this weekend. That's I'm curious now if Madueke's out. Tony, who's your starting lineup for this weekend? Who you running with? Now, when I say that, remember what Arteta does in the formation. No back three.
Yeah.
No back.
I know that. You probably go with the same back four.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go with the same two midfielders.
Yep.
For a change of me, I would start Trossard because I think his vision and football intelligence gives him more than what Martinelli's pace or tracking back on defense can get you. Not really sure about White Ring or Cucurez has been hot in the league, so you keep going him. If he's not working, you always got Kai to come out there, and I would keep Eze where he was. So just few changes from this team.
I think when I looked at it in my prediction, I actually had Jesus starting at right wing. Just because I don't believe Arteta will start Dowman. And again, I don't know if the Etihad season on the line starting Dowman is the right play. I almost feel like if you're going to bring Dowman on, he's the Eze replacement in the middle of the pitch. If Odegaard's not available to go, if Odegaard doesn't make the lineup, again, if Saka's available, Saka sits for me. Not because of a talent issue, but because I don't think you can do a full game for me. I don't think it'd be stupid to bring him back and throw him out there for 90 minutes. That would be the dumbest thing Arteta could do. Now, if the argument is Odegaard and Saka will be back for the weekend and you could give me 30 minutes, okay, let's do this. Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be 100% smart. The Jesus one is the one I'm thinking about because if I'm starting to think about like-for-like subs, Tony, Madueke was limping in that. I think you saw Twitter. He might be fine, but he got the shit knocked out of his knee. So I don't know if he's going to play. You're looking at Trossard and Martinelli's like-for-like. Gyökeres and Havertz is like-for-like. I'm thinking Jesus, maybe Dowman like-for-like. Eze and Dowman like-for-like.
Yeah.
Rice Zubamendi is going to be there. Do you start Mascara on the right? I actually really thought Mascara was good. The times we've seen Mascara in right back, I feel confident he can do the job. There was also a moment earlier in the game, and I don't remember if you gentlemen remember, it was in the first half. Mascara was overlapping. I believe he had passed the ball to Saliba, and he wanted to make a run, and no one got him the ball. Like those passes Odegaard or even Ben White would have made years ago.
Yeah, but our confidence of the teammates is something that's lacking. because they're making those run, I believe, because that's part of the game plan, but they're not getting the pass because they don't trust them.
Yeah.
One thing that was funny about what you said, you put in the chat, and then I was in another chat, and somebody's like, Arsenal just needs to put some technical players on the pitch next game, and I asked the question, who are they?
Yeah.
And the list was Dowman, Saka fit, Martinelli, Jesus, and Gyökeres, I think or Kai, were the 5 players I think that they said, you know what, that would be the technical players that we need to have on the pitch. Not all together, but if you're going to pick 3 out of them, yeah. And I think that was your front line, right? Your front line was Martinelli, Kai, and
Jesus.
And Jesus, right? That's what you had as your front line, and it's like, yeah. And unless somebody knows any other technical players that we have, those 5.
I don't. Did I say Martinelli and that's the starting lineup, or did I say
No. You said. Oh, did you say Trossard?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't. Again, so there's this world where you're thinking about, if you're thinking about this game tactically, City's going to be on a high. Let's be fair here. We want to win, but a draw will still get the job done. 100%.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about playing it safe, but also, I feel like if you start with Trossard, you could do well on that, just because you could throw Martinelli on when it's time to go crazy. If you can get maybe like a right back on a yellow card. But the last time Trossard went up and played at City, he almost got a double red. Remember that? Or did get the double red? Or that 2 years ago?
No, he got when he kicked the ball away, and he got the
Yeah. So Anthony Taylor is the ref this weekend.
Yeah. You know what? The fact that we have to know these, we know these names is terrible.
I wouldn't know if no one had tweeted it. I would have never known. I wouldn't have gone to look it up or anything. Sometimes I like to be surprised by things. That's why I don't watch Arteta's press conferences, because, again, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, he's not telling you the truth anyways. So
he's not even one of the worst ones. Sean Payton is literally the worst press conference out there. So, Arsenal fans, be lucky you don't know. I'm interested in the tactics of that. I had Trossard, Havertz, Jesus. That's who I had.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. They had
but I like the Greg Popovich's and the Belichick's of a world that they just don't give the media anything to chew on. And
Archer hasn't learned that, or he gives them the wrong thing. So, yeah, like I said,
he talks way too much.
Send me a link.
Like you said.
Call us Stan. Welcome to the show. He says, "Hi Gary and all. Thanks for joining us. We only talk football." Yeah, like I said, send me the link. Mitchell and Ness Bulls jerseys. Jordan, what? You're getting the Rodman. Oh, I don't know. Oh, that's your next purchase. You're done with Premier League football. Mascara did well today. Defensively, he is there. Going forward, he's not as natural for him, but as I said, he has played well. No, Mascara. Once I saw him come in for Saliba, and we didn't miss a beat. I'm happy with that. That means we got something there. I think he's 21 years old. I think we just let him build. Let him build his craft. He'll be all right.
I got a reply to BX there. I'm kind of disappointed that the Thunder doesn't get the Jordan jerseys that seems like a third of the league has now. I want the Thunder to have a Jordan. You'd have a league MVP twice in a year, most viewed team. So,
let's see. Tasha Olive, City to beat Arsenal. Yeah, a lot of people think that. And right now, that doesn't surprise me at all. We're not playing well. I mean, we played much better today than we have in the previous 4 games, I think. But still got ways to go to get back to where we were beforehand. Steven says if Taylor is the ref, we were screwed before the game even starts. Easily one of the worst refs in the league. Yeah, I don't. The thing is, Arsenal has known that they're not gonna get whatever they want from the referees, and so it doesn't matter. now that we're not so good. Yeah. Now I was saying, if you want to come on my channel, I just need to be able to see you doing what you do. So if you have a link to a show or a channel that you're on, that's what I want to see. I don't usually get offers to join my show, so maybe I'm doing it wrong, but that's just how I feel. I feel like I need to see you at work as well. You'll see me at work, so I don't know if you like it or not. I hope you like it. I like to do the same thing for others as well. What else I got here? Yeah. Oof. What was I gonna say now? So that's the game. Yeah. You on Gianni's channel. Okay. I'll check that out. All right. I see Johnny's in one of the groups. So you must be it's weird because we don't, you don't get to see the name anymore. So I don't know, what your name might be in you must be one of the chats maybe. But I will I'll give it a look, see if you were on there yesterday. I think he's been doing a lot of shows, Gianni. So we'll check that out. All right, Tony. I know you wanted to talk about what? You want to talk about Champions League next as opposed to Champions League is not really
I was just talking about how you have Simone, who is a defensive coach, but the style of football is a lot more better. And like I said, I see McCormick's like comparing what Arteta's did to what he's did. They've been to the semifinals. They've been to the finals as well, which wasn't mentioned in the comment. And ultimately, they got dethroned by Real Madrid in those. So, but playing derbies against the biggest club in the world, basically, I mean, to me, there's a reason that Simone gets 32 million euros, 36 million, whatever it is. There's a reason he's the highest paid manager in football. I think he gets a lot out of him. He does the European competitions well. And that's where I was going at. I just think that if you get those style, you can play defensive football, but still have attractive football or play it with pace. I think I think ours would be helped a lot if we just did the pace because we got the players to do it. That's why I just don't think Arteta's getting enough out of the tools he's been given.
I just don't think he has the right mixture, right? Yeah. I mean, Martinelli and Madueke doesn't work together for whatever reason. So
again,
sorry, a second. I'm looking forward to Sunday match, but I'm not excited if I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. It's coming, no matter what you do, it's coming. So we should be prepared and be ready to cheer on our team from far and near. Season will either take a turn for the better or for the worse, for sure. Well, it will. Something will happen. The season's not over, but something will happen. So we shall see. Yes,
there's so many more twists and turns in this,
So do you go practical like you did today, or do you just go out there all guns blazing?
Practical. I think if you completely sit there and from a tactical just invite pressure constantly, you're going to get broken down eventually. I think you have to be smart with your passes. You have to be sound defensively. I don't think we can afford to have Gabriel and Raya passing the ball back and inviting pressure without there being someone as an outlet. That's why the Odegaard one I feel like we missed because if City do that 4-2-4 like they did last time and sit on us, you're going to either have to answer back with like a 4-4-2 and bring your wingers back to create as outlets to get out.
Tony, you making noise?
No, don't think so.
Is it me?
Oh, you know what? It's it's in my hair. Oh, sorry, my bad.
But that's how you'd look at it. I think you have to go practical with it. I think you can invite some pressure, but you're gonna have to hit them on the counterattack. That's why the Martinelli versus Trossard argument. And here's the thing about Sunday too, gentlemen. We don't have a game until the 25th. and that's against Newcastle. So we have 6 days off. So we can also sit there and look at this like, hey, I need you to give me a good game. And when I call you off, I call you off. If I don't, you need to be able to give me what you can give me. So this got to be treated like an all hands on deck type mentality. And I mean, we haven't lost to City in 3 years in the league.
Something
I think.
like that. Yep.
Yeah. So
well,
I think we're gonna end up with a draw. I think it's gonna be a 1-1 game.
Season.
I think it's 1-1. I think you end up with the draw at the Etihad. That's my prediction now. I might change it Saturday when we do this again, Gary. But right now, I need to see who's going to be healthy for City too. Is Nico O'Reilly going to be out? Is Rodri potentially nursing on something? Who do we have available? I think that's going to be the massive question all week, right? Like, are we going to have our full complement to not give us a 90 minutes, but to give us can you give me 15 minutes off the bench? Can you give me 30 minutes? Can you do X, Y, and Z for us to make this happen? That's why I think Saka will show up and be on the bench on Saturday. Because I think Arteta also has to look at this as saving his job too.
Yeah, but you know what? Also, if I'm Berta, I'm like, you're not gonna
ruin the tools.
You're not gonna destroy one of our best player like Saka. If he's our best player and he's not, if it doesn't make sense for him to go out there because you're risking like I keep saying this, we just signed him to a 5-year contract. I want to see him play through the 5 years. Yeah, that means this year it's been a bust. We can't just put him out there just because I want to save my job. I don't think Saka not playing is the reasons why we haven't been able to be competitive in these games that we've lost of late. You can't tell me Saka not playing is the reason why we lost to Southampton and why we lost to Bournemouth. We have answers. We have answers, and the trick is, and most of the good managers know this, is they work with what they got and they get it to overachieve, right? No matter what. You see that even with Pep, he gets his players to overachieve. Not everybody there is world class, right? But everybody there overachieves. And he gets the best out of them with what he does. So it is possible, right, to get more out of your players than they have. Just gonna answer this question here. Yeah. I don't know about I wasn't trying to lead you on, but I'll need to look at it and then get back to you. So it's probably not going to happen today. I'm sorry. Not usually, like I said, I'm not usually letting people on my show the first time they come in sometimes. So, but I will check it out and I'll send you a message. The problem with the front three we had today is that none of them are good at holding the ball up. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, we still got 15 shots today?
Yeah.
So with the fact that they couldn't do that didn't mean we didn't get opportunities to shoot. I just think we took too long on the ball.
Yeah.
But we did get opportunities to shoot today. So yes, the players don't work, I don't think, but we did get enough opportunities to score and we just didn't get the ball out in time. So
do you know what? I think the answer is the players do work, and hear me out when I say this. But they're not good enough to work on the amount of they're not clinical or elite enough to justify them working together. Does that make sense when I say that? So my point being is they need such a high volume of opportunities that if there was a little bit more clinicalness, lower volume of opportunities would be not a problem. I think that's what I'm trying to say with that. Yeah, so
I still think pace solves some of that problem as well, though. You're going so slow, this methodical build up, and you seen it in the other game today. It was 1-2 passes in the back of the net for both teams. Because Bayern and Real Madrid both did that.
Because you know what? The way that we defend is not the way that we attack. Mm-mm. We defend as a squad, right? When we defend from the front all the way through to the back. When we attack, it's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. 1-2s are a thing. We don't do that. A player will make a pass to play on the outside, make a run up in the seam, and the pass won't come, and you're like, what the world is going on here? Like, you see this all the time. A play like what it happens to us. A player will get a ball right on the touchline, and his teammate will run on the inside, and the pass is already gone. It's right there for him to run under, and we don't do that. So we have no. So then eventually we have to go back because there's two players coming at him, and he has no choice but to go backwards, as opposed to making like we don't like we. It's one of those things where we don't make the we don't make the attempt early in the shot clock kind of things. Like we're on a shot clock, but we want to run all the way down to the end, and then we take a bad pass or a bad shot at that point. Whereas in reality, take what the defense gives you. When they give you that break, you take it and you go and you bomb down the pitch, right? We don't do that. Like I think even today, there was I forgot who it was. Was it Eucharist? Gets the ball out and then starts going down and then realizes he's the only one and then doesn't want to continue anymore. And it's like, no. Those guys got to catch up to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those guys got to come out, catch up to you, and then you should be screaming to get there. You know?
Well, that's why I think maybe going Havertz in the 9 on Saturday or Sunday. I don't want to keep saying Saturday. I think might be the right answer over Yorkerez. And I'm not saying Yorkerez is not good by this, but based on what you mentioned there about the hold-up play, Havertz does do that very well. And if he's playing at the 9 position, he's going to make runs. He's going to hold the play up. Now, whoever that's going to be as a complimentary to the wings is probably not going to be Nana Madueke because he's probably going to miss the squad on Saturday or Sunday. Again, did it again. But again, this is the question here. If you're coming from a perspective of how you're going to make this city game work, you're going to need your striker to hold the play up to allow the wings and Eze or whoever to come up for that support. However we do it, it makes you also wonder, man, someone like obviously if Havertz or Yorkerez are available, but Jesus used to be really good at holding that ball up too. But it'd be wild. Let's do a massive what if here, man. If Jesus is the one that helps us get this over the line.
No, as I told you, that would be poetic, right?
Yeah, it would be great.
He left them to go help win Arsenal trophies.
If there's a guy that's hungry this weekend, it's probably that guy.
He might if he could leave on a high. This would be the start of that high. Having a good game. I mean, him on the ball is something I don't think you see from most players on our side. Even Saka on the ball doesn't look like Jesus on the ball. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like when somebody comes at him, he's able to hold on to it and make them like he moves so smooth when he can't. You know, Saka just will. You know, it's a a totally different style there, but. Yeah, it'd be not if Arteta, if he goes by, like he said, if he goes by, we need technical players out there because we're playing City. Does he do that and let Jesus get a half? And then, if it doesn't work out, then he can always pull him because I don't know if he can go 60, 70 minutes for us, but
I feel like there's a world on Sunday, and maybe it's just the blind Arsenal fan, the wanting this to happen, the hoping to wish it, the guy that sat through disappointments with you gentlemen and everything, right? I just keep wondering if is Eze the one? Who's going to be the player or players that step up to put this last 6 games on their shoulder?
Yeah. I think Eze is a player that could do that for us, right?
I mean, if you watch,
he'll be going up against his teammate, right?
Yeah,
he's coming back. He looked like his shots will hopefully get better now that he's back into a little bit more game shape, right? So hopefully that's what we get from him. So I think Eze is somebody who can, when given a chance, will take the shots that will open up the game for us, or put us ahead where we want to be, right?
Did you not see tonight from him some flashes from the previous Eze? Or am I just sensationalizing it? Because
I thought he looks good. I think he just needs to get more touches, and I think that's the problem. He doesn't get enough touches to influence the game enough. Right? That's kind of what I feel like sometimes.
And I felt like part of that is that we've seen Zubimendi, we've seen up until probably middle of February where he started kind of getting tired.
Well, Zubimendi looked good today, right?
That's a good sign, man. That's such a good sign.
Yeah, Zubimendi was all the way up there, right there on the goal line, basically making them have to make decisions.
And he's the one that made the mistake. The people caught him out for crying and all that stuff, but he went out there and delivered a
You know what?
great game, so he made
Yeah,
up
I
for
mean,
it.
I get. I just think, you know what? People say, do these players care about how they're playing? And then they look at that, and then they complain about him complaining about how he's playing. You know what I mean? So he can't
Yeah,
win, right? People are saying, do these players care?
yeah.
And he showed you, look, I care. I didn't play well. I did not do well, and that was just
And
whatever.
I'm there to
He made a
make up
bad
for
pass
it,
or
and he
whatever it
did it.
was, right?
You
So I
know
think
what? When you put it into that aspect, and again, this is comparing Bournemouth to what I saw tonight. I saw better from Madueke. I saw better from Martinelli. I saw effort, hustle. I don't know what happened on Saturday. Again, I have no earthly idea. Again, if we end up losing this league, I'm going to look more harshly at the Wolves game than I am the Bournemouth game, just based on who Bournemouth have been and who I think they're like. Again, I think they're going to take points off of City later on in the season. I think that's going to happen.
Well, you know what? We don't even know what City we're going to get
We
because
really don't.
because
Again,
O'Reilly came off injured, and I think who else came off injured in the game as well? Rodri came off injured, right? They both got
Yeah.
knocked in the game. So whether or not you're going to get 100% Riley and Rodri, we don't know, right?
And let's be fair, that Carabao Cup game, if we're honest with ourselves, City only had 2 moments in that game, and they took those moments, and that's all they needed to do, and they beat us 2-0. Outside
Bournemouth
of that,
had 2 moments. That's the problem.
right?
Teams don't get too many options. You know why? Because we're good. But what
But
we
again,
do,
here's my
and then
point
when
being,
they
is like,
do
if you
get
go to
that
the-
moment, right? Guess
Yeah.
what they do? You know, they go, what is it, belt to lever or whatever they call it?
belt to
They
ass.
go at it because guess what? I don't think that's what I meant.
That's what it says.
but they put their heads down. They're just like, you know what? We
Yeah.
might not get this chance again, right?
Yeah.
Sunderland, how many chances did they get?
A
2,
lot. Yeah.
right? 2 chances. Like you look at a lot of these games where we're like struggling. Other team, they don't get that many chances, right? Sporting had a couple of chances today. It
Hit the
doesn't. We
post,
don't, like I said, we lean on our defense is that good even without some of our top players. The trick is the teams haven't been able to take advantage of us enough because we're that good. I just like City. Like you said, City got 2 chances in that game. One we created for them. Another one, I guess we created both of them for them, but because we created both of them for us because I think our defense is better than that, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think they just broke us down and that created all of that. I think we gave them opportunities and they took it.
We invited that. And again, look at City against Liverpool. If you're not remembering that game, I think Liverpool had a couple chances that didn't go in that could have changed that game. City ended up beating them 4-0. And then you got the City-Chelsea game, which from everything I saw, the first half, it was kind of blah. And for something happened in the second half, and City took off. But let's not also forget, Chelsea lost their last 3 Premier League games. So is how good is really Chelsea? So this is also the same City that drew to Forest, drew to West Ham, got pumped by Real Madrid. So again, like the fact, if this is just a de facto, like, okay, they're just going to win the next 6 games, I don't see proof that backs that up completely. Now, they are a lot better in their last 3 than we look. That's 100% accurate. But again, I don't know. I don't know what City we're going to get on Sunday. And I don't know what Arsenal we're going to get on Sunday. I know what the trends say and what the history says. But again, I mean, I think you shared it. Maybe it was you or Tony that shared it. And like this sequence of games matches the ones that we've had in the past. But again, if I could bring this up too, to talk about Raya for a second, I don't know how much of the Bayern Munich game you guys saw, but Manuel Neuer had a massive mistake and Guler punished him. You see? So like these mistakes happen, and talking about how good Bayern Munich is with Elise, Luis Diaz, Musiala, Kane. They also have Upamecano in the back, and he's ass. He's not a good defender. You know what I mean? So yes, a game against Bayern Munich, like they from an attacking perspective, even Serge Gnabry's doing his thing there. We're better in the back than they are. That's a fact. I mean, that was a basketball match between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. And if I'm going to defend Arteta, I don't think Arteta wants to get in a basketball match.
No, but Real Madrid had to. That's
Oh,
the
I
thing.
know Real Madrid had to. They had to take the game too.
They
though,
had to,
100%.
and they put enough pressure on them, right? That that's what you get. You know, you get and like Bayern Munich can play that football. I mean, not Bayern, yeah, Bayern Munich can play that type of football, right? We're not going to do that, so they're just going to play whatever we get. But they're going to, when they get an opportunity, they will take it. So
Yeah,
you know,
see, man.
And that's what I said about those teams did both 1-2 passes, and their ball was in the back of the net, and we're prone to that due to the way we play our fullbacks. So they have to be more disciplined, which I think they can be. I think they did all right.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I wish we had Timber, but
1 second. I'll be right back.
We'll see if he's going to be, you know, at least back on the bench, right? We'll see.
Yep.
You know, we'll see if that's the case. So yeah, no, I mean, I think we have enough to get through the game. I think, you know, if the game plan just has to match with the players that we put on there. That's the thing. You know.
yeah, I just don't think we can play for a draw. I think we have to go out there and actually try to win it.
Oh, you know, everybody who says I will try for second or I want to do top 4 sometimes finishes 5th, right?
Yep.
So you never want to set you know, your goal can't be I want to settle for not top, especially, you know, as people said, if you're a big club, you know. Not only that, but like I'd rather, as I said, like to say, shoot for the stars, hit the moon kind of thing. So we're trying to win the game. We're not going to put ourselves out there like people want us to. A lot of people are saying you need to go out there and you need to attack like gung ho, and it's like that's why people lose to City, because you see it all the time. It's like what was it? It was a couple weeks ago last year. I can't remember where it was. Was it Bournemouth or Brentford was having a good streak of games, and you're like, all right. And all of a sudden, they decided to do the exact opposite of what they had done in the previous games, and City burned them for it. And it's like, no, what? Play your style of football, 1, and 2. Don't punish yourself by trying to give City what they want. They want you to play that way. They want you to play open and a little bit reckless in your style. And when you turn the ball over, you're in trouble. So I kind of feel like, you know what? Yeah. You don't want to do that, but you also don't. You want to put pressure on. They will give you opportunities. The trick is you take them. Right, most teams will. You see it all the time. A team will come down, either the goal will be turned away, or the VAR will take it away from them, and then the next thing you know, City's scoring, and then the game's over. Right? They do wake up calls a lot of times, just like most teams, you know. But they'll take what you give them. You give them nothing, they'll just wait. Trick is you score before they do, and then it puts pressure on them. So I kind of feel like we play our game. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but you're right. You put yourself in the proper positions to do what you got to do to win the game. And I think when I think about what I've seen from City this year, and they've lost or drawn 37% of their league matches. So this is a semi-flawed team. It's gonna be a battle, man. I think we're gonna sit here on Sunday, and we're just gonna be tortured for 2 hours. I really do. I'm wondering.
I smile because I'm like preparing myself for it,
bro,
and then when it happens, I'm gonna be upset. But if the result goes my way, then afterwards I'll be happy. But I will hate myself to watch it. But
I know.
You know what? I'm saying it. We gotta. We might have to just win ugly. We might have to just slug it out and get ourselves to drag across the line somehow. If we can do it, cool. But
that's why I think, as crazy as this sounds, what I'm about to say is going to sound crazy, but that's why I think tonight's result was perfect, because we got our kind of defensive solidity back. Mascara got more minutes. Capier was back. You got a clean sheet, whereas like the issues on Saturday, regardless of good going forward performance and how poor that was, how poor we were defensively, in those moments where the gaps happen. And again, I've gone into the Eze that sequence of our mindset of going backwards and inviting the pressure, and Gabrielle making a poor decision, and Raya being on the ball 49 times, where we saw a little bit more progression with the ball today, where like, again, is that levels of where Sporting is, or where if you played Sporting and Bournemouth tomorrow, would Bournemouth beat them or draw? You know, like, you don't know that answer. But again, Sunday's going to be one of these hold on to your sphincter things, and it really is, you know. So,
well, like I said, I mean we've got a squad to get what we need to get out of it.
Yeah.
Whether we see it, that's to be said. But like you said, our defense was good today, and we can only get a little bit better with the defense. Then we definitely won't make some of the mistakes we made in the last time we played City. Right, Raya will be there. He might make different mistakes, but he probably won't cough out the ball like Cupper did. So we're gonna take what we get. We're gonna take what we get. Yeah,
it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
let's see.
So, I'm sorry, like I said, sorry, not tonight. But maybe I should have like a call-in show at some point. But I haven't done that because I really don't have the time. So to do an extra show these days. So sorry about that. Remember when Arteta had trusted in MLS to run in midfield and we beat City 5-1?
Yeah, Ortega was in the line too, and that was another game where Havertz started as striker for us, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
you had a goal from Ethan Nweri from a Rice pass.
Yeah.
MLS scored. I believe Havertz had 2 in that game, and Odegaard had a goal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So
But you know what? That was one after a body of work that Arteta trusted. And then, like I said, I think this season has not been – I think, as I said yesterday on the show, it's probably like sophomore blues. It's his second year in the league. It's not – you don't surprise anybody anymore. And also he had to live with the fact that he's not the number one starter anymore. And I think that does play on a young player's mind as to, and they have to be ready to play. And I don't think he's been ready to come on and participate. You know what I mean? I don't think he's come on prepared to play football when he's come on.
He has a few times, but
I mean, like, he needs to be consistent. Like, every time he comes on the pitch, it needs to look like he had started the game. That's because he knows how to play. He knows what it looks like, especially he's not playing in midfield, so he's playing the same position, but he's not starting. But then he looks like he's never played a position. Sometimes he's getting turned. He didn't get turned that often in the previous year, right? I never felt like we.
But when your manager puts the trust in you, then the next year, he didn't put a foot wrong last year.
But he's not a fullback, Tony. That's the thing. You're acting like it's his position, and he's getting blocked from it. He's not the fullback Arteta wants, right? He had to play it because he can, but I don't think that's his position. So when they brought in Calafiori, that was the intent that he would be the starter, I assume, right?
I still think Arteta wants Miles Lewis-Skelly to take that progression in midfield, and it's something that we may see next year.
Yeah.
Again, all things considered, depending on what happens, manager, whatever, with all that stuff. I don't think they sell them. I think that's insane that they sell Miles Lewis-Skelly.
Yeah.
And then, of course, where's Ethan Nweri going to end up? Again, the who comes and goes in this offseason coming up is going to be interesting, especially with a World Cup year.
Yeah.
But you get Miles Lewis-Skelly, man. I mean, that was just a different game. If you go back at it, City didn't have Ederson because he was injured, I believe.
Didn't have Rodri, right? Or Rodri
was already out. We actually kind of hurt Rodri in that first game. This is a shit or get off the pot game as far as, for a lot of players too. And I was thinking about it, as we sit here, that stupid idiot with this bottle, with the Arsenal bottle that apparently was given to him, is what some sort of like one of the physios gave it to him out of kindness from the club heart, like, your kid's thirsty. That was the story, and I guess he dropped his water.
So then he decided to do this with it. So,
and again, like, you got someone in our club showing a little class, right? Hey, let's help out a kid, and then you have the audacity to go
The
do
two
that.
don't match, though. The two don't match. The story behind the bottle and then the bottle usage, right? So
Yeah.
Red Hot Game is in the house. He says so. So what's everybody's thoughts on us? What something simulation is essentially a giant dome. I don't know what you're saying here. I don't know. Maybe tell me that again.
Thinks we're in a simulation.
Oh, he thinks what? We are in a
I think we're in a
simulation.
simulation. Yeah.
You think we're in a simulation? Well, somebody needs to control alt delete and reset this thing. Boy, Tendio says our defenders are more creative passers. I think they are given the confidence from the manager to do those types of things. That's what I think. Because you see it I've said it all the time. like how is it that some of our defensive players will do this, but our attackers won't? Like I feel like Arteta, like he is defense first, and he's like, you ever seen those commercials, those movies where it's like the defense and the special teams get the big steak, right? First, it's like Arteta trusts his defense. Like think about it, he put Mascara in his first game at Anfield. First game at Anfield, right? Yep. And he also held back Eze. He held back Gyökeres, right? How is it? Right? Because he looks at a defender and he can tell everything about a defender, but an attacker, he's got no clue because we never see when's the last time we've seen an attacker come straight in? Jesus, because guess what? He coached him, so he knew him. Yep. But otherwise, he's not too many players just get to come in straight away and play on the other side of the ball. Defensively, he's got it, right? Rice comes in, boom, you get to play, right? Zubamendi comes in, you get to play, right? Timber, you come in, you get to play. All the attackers we brought in, they're all come in, and they never get looked at the same way, because I don't think at least from what I can tell, Arteta's his ID of attackers is not right, because he doesn't trust them enough for them to know what to do with them and to put them in right away. All right. We probably, who knows? I don't know. I would like to think that if Eze had started in that Anfield game, it may play out a little different. The fact that we brought him on so late and he did show some high, things, I'm like, if he had started, like he would have started if it was Crystal Palace, but for some reason he couldn't start for us. All right. If he had stayed with Crystal Palace, he would have been starting the third game of the season. But for us, he couldn't. All right. We didn't have anybody better than him.
Well, again, this is the reality here, Gary. Like you're talking about things that, my thought process when I say this, decisions that were made in September, and you're have an impact in April. There we go. That's what I was going to say. But everybody's like, oh, well, Arsenal can't do it in April. And it's like, well, I don't know about that. I know that the trend with Arteta, like the record isn't good and Pep's record's really good under there. But again, like you said there, the decisions at Anfield, I mean, that's another point that could have been on the board, right? If my point being is like that adds up, and then the Wolves game, that's another 2 points, that's 3 points, and then even the Villa game,
Sunderland, yeah,
right, the Sunderland game, that could have been a win. The Villa game, I think, looking back at it, the 1-1 draw would have been perfect. That's okay, given where they were at the time. Whereas like when you go play the Etihad, if you'd taken care of your business in the Liverpool game, the Sunderland game, you're talking about, hey man, we're actually 12 points ahead of you right now, City, and there's less pressure going to the Etihad. Whereas now,
the problem with all of these things is all these things we're talking about means we're near perfect. We're undefeated for the season.
Yeah,
and nobody does
100%.
that. So it's like
we survived the Chelsea game. We literally survived that 2-1 Chelsea game. We should have probably lost that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple other we can go look at, and we could say, yeah, I got lucky there, got lucky there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do this mind maze about every game you want. But again, I look at the roster that we have currently. If there's anything I'm going to gig Arteta on, and I think we've talked about this, and this is not starting the whole in and out again, the man management is why we're picking Gyökeres, Martinelli, and Madueke right now. the inability to rotate properly, the inability
Yeah.
to make those decisions are why we're in the position we're in right now. And hopefully Matt Awake is fine. Like he came up limping. Maybe he'll surprise us. And
Well, he was in a boot. He was in a whatever leg thing the last time, and it didn't seem to.
and maybe they're
recognize
saving
much.
Saka for the last month of the season. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Well,
know.
if he no, like if you're saving him, you're saving him. Right now, it looks like you're saving him for the City match, but
Yeah,
I don't want to. Like we could win the last 5 games of the season, and maybe or last 4 games, last 5 games, whatever it is, last 4 games of the season, and maybe that makes a difference, right?
yeah.
But now it would, but we have to win on Sunday. So Boyten Dio's like I'm vexed with Arteta. Laugh out loud. We shall see what happens. Yeah, no, we shall see. Steven says we are in a simulation. We're in the Matrix. So Boyten Dio says no simulation. Dick's Gunner, what has he got here? CONCACAF Championship Cup is on as well. Copa Libertadores and Copa Sudamericana action. NBA playoffs also. It's NBA. That's right. NBA playoffs. My Heat got knocked out the other day. So
yeah, they let everybody in the NBA playoffs now, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's like you get
one thing that has gone wrong as well. Oh, Tony is back there. I don't know. I'll wait. I'll bring it. Oh, he's there. One thing has gone wrong as well as our set piece play. It's not producing right now. It's Boyten Dio says Jova is a one-trick pony. Set piece hasn't been set piecing for months now. I think when you go away from it, it definitely hurts because what was it? Was it Bournemouth or Southampton? I forgot which game. I think it was Southampton. We short kicked it like halftime.
Yeah, I feel like I know why we did it in the Champions League because I feel like they were looking for fouls. So they were like any contact with Arsenal, we're just gonna call it a foul.
Yeah, but you gotta just.
But they weren't good short kicks either.
No, I mean the one did actually work. I think today when Rice got up there and made a little short kick and we got the ball in. But I'm just like, you don't like. I think I even said it. You brought up your back four for a free kick and you went short with it. We lost it, and that's one where I think Martinelli has to run it down, right? Because he's sitting back, and that doesn't make don't do that. Like if you're gonna like. At least if you're going to go short, make sure one of your two of your defenders are running back. You know what I mean? They're just there as a decoy. Because it just did not work, and we almost got caught out. Right? So yeah. In 23-24, we were in the middle of a 16-1-1 run in April, so that's bollocks. But then again, we were playing attacking football then, which we haven't played in 2 seasons.
I just know what the percentage of wins under Arteta in April is like 40%.
Yeah,
the whole time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I think when people looked at that little, and it's, I kind of got turned by it as well, that little meme that went out there that showed we had 1 win in like 10 games, but those aren't all the games we played. I mean, I think the stat I heard was 11 wins, 7 draws, 8 draws and 7 losses is what it is. So the win percentage isn't great, right? It's under 50%, right? So it doesn't look bad when you say it like that, right? But 40% sounds bad in terms of win percentage. But dropping points, we're over 60% of getting points, getting something out of the games. So Redaholic Gamer says, I think I said hi to you, but hello. Every 200 odd years, Earth has a massive extinction event to create a new life. People think that there was a more intelligent life on Earth that survived that live underneath Antarctica. Well, did not know that. Thanks for that information. For those who didn't know, either it was Xhaka that made the attacking football, or Arteta figured that the romance of attacking football wasn't worth it. Yeah, he did. I mean, Xhaka did look better when they pushed him up the pitch. Yeah, but he did trust him to play as a left back, right? And that's the thing. He trusts his defenders to do a lot of stuff. He don't trust his attackers as much, right? He doesn't trust his attackers to do as much because he doesn't give them the freedom to do stuff, right? The whole thing with Martinelli cutting inside late in the Sporting game in Portugal, right?
Matter.
Rice is telling him to pass backwards, which is probably the right play in Arteta's mind, and Martinelli didn't do that. And guess what? Boom! He puts the pass in. bang bang. We get the winning. You get the game that goal that gets us through to the semis essentially, right? If he doesn't make that move, we go to penalty. We play extra time today, and we don't need that.
No.
Right. So by not listening, following the status quo, we got into the semis.
Well,
Right?
we can't assume every time we're attacking and score that Arteta didn't want that.
No,
I think where you can make that argument, Gary, is like on Saturday's moment when I talked to you about Eze and the decision to turn the ball backwards. That's the Arteta overarching like safe stuff. Because if you look back at that photo, Eze could have taken the touch with his left foot and split the defenders with Trossard, or trapped it, turned, seen Rice, and then passed it to Rice, and Rice could have progressed it. But
as I told you, we got too many. Our spacing for me looks. Safe. I don't know if the spacing is good or bad, but I felt like the spacing was too. We're like on top of each other, so it's easy to defend. So it's crowded, so there's not enough space. Nobody's moving, so it's easy to defend. Nobody's moving, so there's nobody to pass to on who's going to cut through and break lines that you can make a pass to. They're just standing. We do a lot of that standing, right? A lot of teams, what they're doing is moving, right? And the passes to a moving player as they cut through the line, or if they cut through the line and it doesn't make it, then they can follow them, right? But we don't move. We just stand there a lot of times, just hovering behind the defenders, and I don't think that gives us a chance, right?
Yeah, so, it's a mixed bag for me. Yeah. I think we're very cautious, and I think for a players, that's why the sideways and backwards passing is done so much by some of our players because of the obsession with turning the ball over in the counterattacks.
And we do it anyway. So for me, it doesn't matter. You're overthinking the whole thing, and you're doing it anyways. And we're doing it even in worse situations,
in worse locations.
So instead of like turning it over as we're trying to attack, which also for some reason we have we can't balance. We can't like be set up for that counter for some reason. Like we're turning the ball over on the 18, and they are countering, and it's like we're scattergory trying to chasing shadows sometimes. I don't get it sometimes why that happens, but that's what it looks like. But I'd rather turn the ball over as we are trying to attack than where we are a lot of these times. When you've seen how many balls have you seen us just turn over on that?
I mean, Gabriel's made a bad pass here. Saliba's made a bad pass. Rice, Subamendi.
Yeah.
I mean, like Raya, like I don't mean to like steal other people's thunder from other YouTubers that have said stuff, but there was a massive point that someone made. Anytime Martinelli makes a mistake, Raya loses his mind. But when Raya makes a mistake, he's like, no big deal. It's like, no, bro. Like, you had one tonight.
He had more than one. He did it. He put his hand up a couple times, at least 2 times.
There was that
tonight.
one massively bad one. I don't know what he was thinking.
He made a bad pass one time, and another time he it was towards the left side of the pitch. Whatever he was doing, and he put his hand up again because he made a mistake there. So yeah, pick your poison. Yeah, we'll see. I think scoring 57 goals in 18 games and conceding just 10 is more than worth it. We cut our goals against in half in the final 18 games from 19 to 10. Yeah. We looked good back then. Arteta got burned, and he's been just too hesitant to make that change. Yeah, that was right. Ray threw the stinky pass today. Yeah. Too much fear in the attack, and I think that's the problem. They're too worried about what happens if things go wrong, and I'm like, why aren't you like maybe thinking, what if I do if things are going to go right? You know what I mean? If you spend as much time thinking about how things are going to go wrong, if you make a pass, then if I make the pass and things go right, guess what? Teams know we're not going to make that pass, so they can just they don't even have to move. They just start walking towards us, and we're like, no, we're not going to go there. There's a defender there, I think
the inverted left back has killed stuff too, if I'm honest. I know it was brought in under his first season, but let's also be honest about that first season with Arteta and the inverted left back, because we had Xhaka in the 8, which again, I don't want to do revisionist history. And I know there was issues with Xhaka, and I know people feel their feelings about what he did with the shirt and everything, but I also wondered if it'd have been smart for us to keep him.
No, I always said we let him go at the wrong time. Like we finally got him kind of playing football for us, and now we're going to let him go. That just made no sense, right?
I just wonder if that was a mistake.
Like the fact that he went off and went undefeated the next season says like I think you finally got him playing well. He comes
Yeah.
back into the league. He's playing well again, right?
Yeah.
But you had something there, and and then if you bring Rice in, then you've got even more solidity behind him, right? Right? You think if you had Jacques and you had Rice behind him, you yes, we would have taken that. I mean, I always said that I understand the whole like Arteta that letting him go is the same thing as Kepa playing in the final, right? Letting him go and playing Kepa in the final, like we're trying to win here. You don't want to win with us, right? Bring in Raya for the final, right? Don't you want
Yeah.
to win with us? Stay with us now. I have better things coming, right?
Yeah.
I know you want to go for whatever reason. The fact that he actually came back to the Premier League afterwards says, no, he should have stayed, right? The fact that he actually came back, 2 years later, I think, says he probably should have just stayed, right? I mean, I didn't like what he did, but like we finally got him working. You finally,
Yeah.
finally 6 years, you finally figured it out, and all of a sudden now it's not. So we basically just handcuffed ourselves again, right? Finally figure out where to pay a player, and then we let him go, right? Finally figure out where to play Ben White, and then we burn him to the ground, and now he hasn't come back. Like people want Ben White to leave, and I think it's just because you burned him out. This is what could happen to Saka, right? You can burn them out, and then people are like complaining, "Why do we spend all this money on them?" And it's because
I think this is something that's going to happen
know?
to a lot of footballers, and not just at Arsenal. I think the amount of games that are being played,
but you got to
especially
manage it.
oh no, I agree with you, but I'm saying like I don't know if the world's game is actually being managed properly. What I mean by that is like even at the higher levels of like the Man Cities and then us, the Real Madrids and stuff, like is it being properly managed? Because you've also got we competed on 4 fronts this year. Now you're going to send Saka, Rice, a bunch of other players.
I'll be surprised Saka makes it to the World Cup.
I agree with you on that.
I like if Saka wants a career in football, he has to seriously think about whether the World Cup this summer is worth it.
You wonder if he's sacrificing his world football career to go play for England instead.
And that's kind of where I feel like he might be taking it easy now, so he can make it in there, but he's not going to be worth anything for them if he has to. He's not going to be able to play the way he does, right? So I kind of feel like that's why I was like, when they brought him back for PSG, I was like, like the fact that we didn't get through showed me that he didn't have it. If he was at his level, that PSG game goes, I think, totally different. But he wasn't. He's still favoring that leg. He's been favoring it ever since. Right? Every so often you see him make a run and you're like, he's pulling up a little bit lame. Skinner says, I will always back Xhaka. I mean, like I said, I think we finally figured it out, and then he left. Steven says, Arteta didn't get burned last season. Arteta's slow build-up style cost us the title in the first 20 games. We were just 12-4-4. Yeah, but we had some bad. Like if you remember, if that's the season you're thinking, if you're talking about last season, I think if you remember, we dropped points in 2 of those games, right? Why? Because we got second yellows on a ball that was kicked away. That's how we got 2 of those draws, right? Right, and then also in that same game, Erdegaard in the Brighton game, Erdegaard goes off injured, and then we don't have a midfield because we don't want to trust Nweri to play it. So we're playing habits in the midfield, and I think we're struggling. So that's definitely on Arteta's man management. I think Nweri needed to play more minutes. I don't think he needed to start, but he needed to play more minutes than he did. The only time he played is when Saka got injured in that season. That's when he got more minutes, which makes no sense. He's a midfielder. So, I don't know. At least for me, I feel like he could play more in midfield. Xhaka was average at best. This team misses the guy we had last year, who can't be named, and Jorginho in retrospect. I don't think. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think Arsenal wanted to touch that. So Jorginho was getting older, and that's why.
I don't think he's wrong on the Jorginho argument.
Yeah.
I think he could have. I don't. Again, like Nogard. If you think about it, Nogard was a better player to bring in. Jorginho had a pedigree, but was also older. Probably wanted to move on.
Yeah.
But again, like here you go. If you knew you were going to play no guard 60 minutes to Premier League, yeah, probably bring Jorginho back,
Yeah,
right?
well, then that's the whole thing.
You know what I
It's
mean? Like Jorginho
yeah.
could have get his 200 minutes in the Premier League, and people would be happy with that.
I know Arteta doesn't like him, but you have to play him.
I don't see why he doesn't like him. I think he's a good player. I mean, the guy was a captain at Brentford.
He couldn't even play against Brentford. We played Brentford twice. Couldn't even play against them and play. You know what I mean? Like he didn't play in that Brentford game. That just baffled me. What else we got here? Oh please, Xhaka. Really, he scored 7 goals but cost us 3 for a net of just 4, and his poor defensive play. No, yeah, we're still that season. But you know what? We looked much better with him further up the pitch.
But again, this is also in that season.
Yeah.
After that season, you could have had him as a squad player.
Yeah.
And then you could have transitioned to Rice. You could have brought Havertz in and do whatever you're going to do there. And you would have had options with Rice and Xhaka on the pitch with Odegaard at the time. So
he's starting in the league. So obviously some people think he's got enough left in him. So Nweri would have been electric at right wing to rotate with Saka and Madueke. Yeah, I mean, he just needed to play. I want him to play more minutes, and it doesn't have to be because Saka and Madueke are injured. That's the problem. Arteta thinks he has to do that. I was talking about 23-24 this season. Arteta introduced this crap style after going 12-4-4. Oh, we went on the 16-1-1 run. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why things changed. I don't know if the football just, did he change the style or was it the same style and we just screwed it up in the first part of the season as he's figuring things out? I don't know.
He changed it because he went more to 4. He was at 4-2-1-3. Or back to a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
But that's what he had Odegaard playing in a position he should play in that Saka was doing. And Saka, even without the injuries and stuff, he's just been underwhelming this season.
Yeah.
I know the kids are burned out, get all that, but he still should be double digits in goals and assists.
Yeah. No, I hear you, Steven. They went 18-0 to finish off that season, right? Or 18-1, whatever it was. So, got to give it to them. Yeah, we may start out the season bad, but they won all the games they needed to. And you know what? Many of the games that they played in that run, we weren't getting those opportunities, right? So
they flipped it too because it was like with team leading at Christmas. It was like 7 out of 10 years the teams leading at Christmas won, but City flipped it where they were behind and chased it down 7.
But we're talking City, right? City in their prime, right? So it's kind of like the trends don't matter because guess what? They're breaking the mold and all that kind of stuff. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Arteta rotates like he's managing in the 90s. Yeah, nothing. Maybe the 80s. Redaholic Gamer says in one of Norgard's you're one of Norgard's biggest fans, but you don't sign a mid-table older player to compete for a league title. He's never won signing De Bruyne or Modric. Who would have been better on a free? You sign a top player. I don't think we needed Norgard as a squad player. That's the thing. He wasn't coming in to be our starter, but he should have been able to come in and take minutes off players. So I think that's why we're in a situation we are. Like City has players that come off the bench for them and provide support, right? That's what you need. It's just a 23-man squad, 25-man squad. Not everybody starts. Not everybody is a De Bruyne or Modric, right? Right?
But that's probably the people you have on given.
Yeah.
Imagine that 20-25 minutes of rest to Zubimendi and Rice.
No, yeah, they got that in a lot of games. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I always stress rotation, but I meant more, more spreading the minutes around.
I know, but Norgard's criminal being under 90 minutes in the Premier League this year.
Yeah, and he's got like 1,000 minutes of football outside. So like obviously, like he trusts him in the cup matches, and not in any of the Premier League matches. That's just ridiculous, right? So I like. I mean, I
Yep.
always thought maybe he's injured or something. That's the only thing that made any sense. Maybe he's injured, and that's why he doesn't play, right? But yeah, it's a it's a bad trade.
He
No, it's a
doesn't look
bad
like
trade
an
by
injured player when he's out there.
No, I know, but I'm just going. That's the only thing that makes any sense. Maybe he's always injured on the weekends, right? He's fine during the midweek, but on the weekends he's not there. So I don't know. It just seems that way because of what we're seeing, right? The way he's being used, anyways.
Like I said, it's like, yeah, Berta went out and did all this extra work getting these players to get you the depth you needed to win the league.
Yeah.
And you're just not using them, and to me, that's why
you can't bring in 8
criminal.
players. Yeah, you bring in 8 players, and then your players are still burning out come December. Sorry, come March, April. That's not. You're doing something was wrong. It was done from day one. All right, it's done. Like players don't have to play 90 minutes every game. All right. I mean, I think whenever I look at the stats, right, of how we play, right, in terms of like how much of the 90 minutes are our players playing, and it's like in the high 90s%, right? David Raya, 32 games, 32 starts every minute, right? Zubimendi, he started in 31 games. He's got near 30 minutes of 90-minute football, right? So he's not taking much time off. Same thing with Declan Rice. They've got they've got the same minutes, but Declan Rice has played one less game. All right. I mean, our players are playing a lot of football. Even when they don't start, you add it up, and they're playing almost as for every start that they start, they're playing almost that amount of minutes. So even when they don't come off enough to they don't come off enough when they do, right? I mean,
I mean,
I'm looking here.
What did we calculate, Gary? It would probably be 6 players that ended up with 5,000 minutes, or 5 players, something around that.
Like right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players over 3,000 minutes at this point in total. This is in total football, right? And City, I think, has 3. And we want to know why we're burning out, right?
Yeah.
And we're burning out in the same positions like Zubimendi, Bryce, Saliba, Margules, and Timber all have over 3,000 minutes. That's who has over 3,000 minutes, right? And we need it, and it hurts, right? And then you've got Norgard. Like I said, Norgard's got over 1,000. He's got 1,001 minutes, and we know not even 90 minutes of those in the league, right? So everything else is outside. Yeah, so I just think we need to get these players need more minutes spread around, and it doesn't mean they have to start. It just means they need to come off.
Well, the other worst part about it, though, Gary, is you've got these games where we needed a goal and we're only up 1. Like those are the moments where we failed, where we didn't put our chances away, where you can go up 3 or 4-0 and rotate. Like that also comes down to the attack too. So it's we'll see if it costs us, man. That's really ultimately it's a to be determined.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's created a we got this deepest squad in the league mentality. And again, that's why I didn't want Inwary to go. And I know you and I have talked about if you're not going to play him and all the thing, but I guarantee you right now you would have played him.
No, but we've done this so many times. We let players go, and then right behind them somebody gets injured, right?
Yeah.
And there was no reason, like, if you're not going to play them, then you're wasting their careers. And if you're, just because they left and then the injuries come, like, that's probably the football gods telling you, guess what? Maybe you shouldn't do this. We've done this too many times. Right?
It's happened, I think, I think it's happened 4 times now that we've done that, where we let forwards go, or one year it was a defense letting Chambers and whoever left in January. Then you didn't bring anybody back in, and I think that's when we finished fifth, when we had a 75% chance twice of finishing ahead of the Spurs, yet we blew it, and it just
The only positive I can say in this,
and
yeah.
yeah, and you have and those guys are the utility players that Arteta generally likes, but we sold and then do the backups, and it's criminal. But to me, it's like if we did it this winter, I don't know. I don't know who Arteta would have used, because he just seems adverse to going to what Berta's body. And
Yeah, but I was wrong a little bit. City
I
has
can
5.
go on and on about it.
Yeah.
Five
Right. No, I was
over
gonna say I was wrong
3,000.
about City. They have 5 players with over 3,000 minutes, but 2 of them are midfielders. One's Nick O'Reilly, another one's Bernardo Silva. So, you know, and they're more on, at least Bernardo Silva, I think, is more on the attack side. All right. And Nick O'Reilly's been more on the attack side of late. But yeah. And Erlen Haaland actually has the most minutes for them, which is crazy because I felt he sat out a lot of games. But you look at the numbers: 45 matches played, 42 starts. So he's not. He looked like he. I felt like he missed a lot of games, but obviously not.
Yeah.
He's just been out. He's just been. He hasn't been producing in games. That's what it's been. And think about it. He's got 40 GA, and he hasn't. And he's like. It seemed like he was disappeared for like January, February, if I recall. He had like 1 or 2 goals in that period. So what we got here? We're gonna get out of here in a little bit because we have to.
Real quick, Gary, and he in 105 games, he got 100 goals. So I think that was like 0.95 goals per 90 minutes, which is just, or per game. It just that's insane that he's that clinical.
Well, he's that way, and he gets that many chances. I think, right? I think that's the thing. He gets that many chances to score, so he can, I mean, the fact that when all said and done, Gyökeres might have more goals than any other striker that Arteta's had. It's crazy, right? And we had Aubameyang then, so.
And you can even argue that we don't play to his strengths or anything.
Yeah, we don't set him up to succeed for sure. Right. Look at City; they have 5 midfielders. 1 a guaranteed start at Rodri, the other 4 you can choose who starts. That should be the way we are now. Like I said, we should be able to rotate our players, give players minutes. You need to be able to trust them. You can't, they sometimes they don't need to start every game, right?
Yeah, it's gonna.
I mean, if you look at it,
I mean that's why you have Eze. That's why you have Norgard and other players like that.
Yeah,
he just hasn't utilized them. You had one there. You have Dalman now that is a gem. That he seems up for a competition. He's up for a Champions League in the last game. He was kind of key of getting that goal laid on. So you have to just roll with what you got and not have your little pets. But he still just needs to build on utilizing the squad, and he doesn't do it. And I think it's criminal this season. If he wins the Premier League, I would still sack him because I don't think he's done enough with the tools that he has.
And that's the thing. Like, if you're evaluating your manager, I've always said this: if you're evaluating your manager, will he be able to take you where you want to go, regardless of what he does this year, right? If you don't think he will, then it won't. It doesn't matter what they do. Sometimes you gotta let a man go if you think you can do better, especially if you think you can do better. and you have to do better if you're going to let him go. If he wins a trophy for you, I mean, we've seen what happened to that team when they let a manager go. Let me go through this chat, and then we're going to get out of here. Red Hot game. Look at this. Oh, I think we talked about this. Yeah. We need to be able to rotate, and we don't have. Maybe Rice is the Rodri in that situation in the sense that he plays every game.
Yeah.
But like, we can't do that. Rodri burned out. We saw what happened. You played him like that for a number of years. Eventually, the legs give up. All right, Tony. We've been over 2 hours. I'm gonna let you have your say so we can get out of here. All to the people.
Tomorrow we'll be doing a WrestleMania preview. Probably memories of past WrestleManias. Hard to stick out in Rodeo. Then Saturday and Sunday, 4.5 hours of live streaming. I watch along each one. So plenty of wrestling coming up.
Cool.
And hopefully we'll win Sunday. At least a draw. Draw might be enough.
Play for the win.
Like
Play for the
said,
win. Yeah.
That's what I would do. But Arteta seems to like playing for a draw. And that's when we struggle. So hopefully we play practical, but we still try to take it to them at times because we do have a defense.
Okay. All right, Spencer.
Well, I think I don't know about Tony, but I know myself and Gary have really kind of wrapped our heads around the events from Saturday. I'm not saying you haven't, Tony, but I know I've seen Gary on a lot of stuff, and I've been watching a lot of stuff, and I've seen a lot of takes, a lot of opinions. But again, Saturdays are so I keep saying Saturday for some reason, but Sunday's game is going to be huge, and I don't know how it's going to go. I know people feel some kind of way about it. I feel it's going to be a draw. I feel it's going to be semi-anticlimactic too. But it's going to be massive. It's going to be huge. And hopefully we're sitting here next Tuesday talking about 3 points and not a loss. I mean, I'll take a draw. I think it's going to be interesting. That's all I'm going to say. Enjoy. But I get people's discomfort. I get people's anger right now. All those emotions are valid. Don't let anybody ever tell you how you can really think about your football club. This is fun. This is supposed to be entertainment. It's supposed to be enjoyable. So try not to take it too seriously. Make it, your biggest important thing in life. But also enjoy yourself. And as Gary always says, don't waste the trip. So drop weight.
Yes. Yes. So everybody, thank you again for joining. I'm sorry I was late. I guess I as you said, I did a lot of shows since that game. I think I was on a couple of channels. I was on with Dan yesterday, and I was on with Brenny. I probably thought I did all my shows for the week, but yeah, it's funny. I wanted to talk about this game, but I was like, how am I going to do that? I think I was like I said, work kind of was just really busy for me today. The game was very boring, but we got through, so we'll take that. But I was a little late. Sorry about that.
The second half of the first half was just so boring. I was struggling to just keep my eyes open and focus on the game because I was like, this is just so boring.
Yep. But you know what? If we make it boring on the weekend, maybe it'll be a library, and they'll be upset. But hopefully we'll be happy at the end. I'm going still with my 2-0. We can shut them out and get 2 goals. And if we struggle and we get a draw, oh well, we'll take the draw. But we need to try. I think the goal should be to get the 2-0 win on the road. People are going to go, that's crazy. But I'm going to say, you know what? That's what we kind of have to do. You know what I mean? I think that's what we got. We got to come with that mindset.
Did you ever pick your front line, Gary?
I did not pick my front line because my front line, who would it be? I'm torn now because
Waiting to see
I
who's
get the idea.
available.
I'm torn now because I get the idea of Kai starting over Gyökeres. All right, but I think Eze and Gyökeres, I think I would like to see them get into some games and maybe get into a flow, and maybe that thing will work out today because they both got some shots from distance. And you saw earlier in the game where, like, who's going to make that little touch pass that Eze did, right? It didn't play off, but that's what we needed. That's what he'll bring. The more he plays, I think, and the more Gyökeres knows what's going on, we're going to see that. So I kind of feel like I would like to still have Eze and Gyökeres on the pitch. The wings is the problem. I do like the idea of Jesus probably getting a start. I never would have thought that from 2, 3, 4 games ago.
Yeah.
But we need, like I said, we need to do something different. Do we just start Dalman? I know it's a big game, but we need to do something different. Not Dalman-like, but something different. You know what I mean?
Well, the problem when they started Jesus in the Southampton game, Gary, is you had the size of the center backs for Southampton, right? They were colossal towers. I mean, what are the size of City? But again, if you're playing Jesus as a wing,
no, he's got to play as a wing. He's got to play in the wing.
You're playing him differently, and I think if you're looking at a man management perspective of like, hey, how do we want to start this game? I feel like, man, that's a safe bet. You could do like a veteran, right wing of Jesus with a semi-hungry but defensively sound Christian Mascara, and that allows you to do that. Ben White can come on if you need it to happen. I'm interested. Again, we'll see the training videos through the week, right? And we'll get a little more hints and everything. We're gonna be nervy, man. We're gonna be nervy. Again, this is gonna be hell on earth. I'm probably gonna get on the bike and do 10 miles in the second half. We'll just enjoy. I don't know, man. We just enjoy it. We wanted Arsenal to be relevant. They're relevant, and this is what a relevant game looks like.
True.
And stop the rot.
We created it, but
correct. 100%. 100%.
We created the pressure, but we've been doing that all season, and somehow been getting through most of the time. Arsenal Misfit says, "Great unexpected show, guys." It wasn't unexpected. I thought I pushed out a message saying that we're going to postpone to tomorrow. I think I sent that out, but I didn't put the show on the books basically. So sorry about that. We'll be back on Saturday. So yeah, we're back on Saturday and Sunday. Maybe I'll do the watch along with Ryan. But we'll be back to our Tuesday schedule going forward. We'll keep it Tuesday so I don't forget. We'll go from there. 1-0 to the Arsenal, says Beat's gonna. I'll take it, but it's gonna stress me out.
I'll take it.
Yeah, but if we have the 1-0 lead early and we're able to hold on, I'm gonna hate the stress, but I'll take it. City will have to score to just tie it. So, and they might open themselves up. That's a trick. If we could just do something different, how about we score early? All right. Doesn't set piece, own goal. I don't care. Everybody, thank you again for joining us. We'll be back. See you on Saturday. Check out Tony tomorrow, and then we'll be back on Tuesday to hopefully chat about the weekend's game, and hopefully we have a lot of good things to say. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Over and out. And as I like to say,
life is a journey. Don't waste the trip. Enjoy the ride. There you go.